Buddy. I'm Robin Peckham. I'm one of the co-directors of Taipei Dangdai. We're here today entering the second week of Taipei Connections. We just extended for another few days until the 10th of May. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to do a studio visit this evening with the artist Wu Chi-Tsung, who's represented in Taipei Connections by both Gallery du Monde and Sean Kelly. We can take a look. We're right at the studio front door now, and let's head inside. Hello.
Hello, Robin. Welcome.
We've got to keep some social distance here, right?
Yes.
We're very lucky to be in Taipei, where we can be doing studio visits, but we do want to be extra safe and make sure we're following all of the rules as we should. But I'm really happy today that we get to share this side of Taipei. We haven't done any studio visits in our live streaming program so far, although we've heard from artists and galleries having conversations together online. So I hope we can get a really rich look at what your life is like in the studio, what you're doing here every day. Oh. So where are we right now?
Yeah, first of all, it's really honored and happy to have you to visit our studio and all our audience, for sure. Yeah, and this is the studio we just moved in about 1.5 years. So still setting up many things. And this ground floor, the half of this is like a working space and also could use for exhibition sometimes. And the other half behind is our storage, which have
behind here. It keeps going back.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this whole door is actually a big wall to open, so we can move everything like a big, easily into the storage, and with the temperature and the humidity control 24 hours.
Wow. Can we take a look?
Yeah, sure. Let's take a look.
After you.
Okay, so here we put some works like a paper works, penning scroll, or like a sham paper material, and oil painting, which needs some extra taking care of this humidity and
special
temperature.
Care, right?
Yeah.
Wow, this feels so secretive back here.
And there's another secret space here.
I know this work. I remember, this is probably the first work I ever saw from you. When did you start this series?
This is a Crystal City series.
Crystal City, yeah.
Yeah, I started from 2009, 11 years ago. Wow. Still developing new kind of phone from time to time.
Right.
Yeah. And this one we put the installation. This one we put the installation behind, so audience see the projection first. But in the exhibition, they are welcome to walk around, so they could go to the back side.
You can go back here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me take a look.
It's actually just some boxes and shadows behind.
The magic behind the cave. Here,
yeah.
Come get the camera back here. Take a look.
Yeah. We hide no magic.
It really is like Plato's cave. I love how you can kind of reveal the illusion.
Yeah, and I love all these details when it's changing. You see the perspective is changing, and I love all these abstract reflections. It's like growing all the time.
Now, is that work always installed there, or was that there for showing us today?
You mean this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's especially for you. But we are testing this work. Actually, this work already on for like 2 months already.
Okay.
Yeah, we keep the mechanical structure running, so in case any problems, we want to find out first.
Constantly running.
Yeah.
For 2 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
We are really not so eco-friendly. Keep the work on and air conditioning.
It must be a very low power demand on those. Air conditioning is very necessary. So your studio is one of the most famous studios in Taipei.
Oh, thank you.
In January, during Taipei Dangdai, you had a very big party here that I heard was quite a smash. I was unfortunately working and couldn't get over. Do you like to kind of have the studio play a social role? Is it kind of a hub for a part of the art community?
Yeah, because I feel artists and our studio nowadays not just for producing work. I would like to share the whole process and how we live, how we work all the time, because this process is very, very interesting.
Right.
And I wish the whole things could be more open, because our work is not just producing artwork. Our work is about art, the whole thing of art. So we are happy to share all this.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, no, we're always saying that the art world is more than just the art market, and so it has a lot of different sides to it. And I think that's a really important corollary, is that it's not only about production.
Yeah, that's something I want to thank about Taipei Dangdai as well, because all these side programs that our guests from all over the world, if we get to know Taipei better, we have the chance to share all these things.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah, thanks for that.
So I think we're about to head upstairs now. How many floors are there in the studio?
We have 4 floors plus a rooftop.
4 floors in the rooftop. So we're gonna be walking 5 flights of stairs. When we go through the stairwell, it's possible that we're gonna lose internet connection for a second. So if we get stuck on our way up here, feel free to just send in questions. It's a good time to use the Q&A.
Yeah, just go to the toilet. So we have this standard procedure.
Of course. How am I doing?
36.
Am I
That's
okay?
really good. You good?
I do my hands too.
Yeah, please.
Ready to go. What's behind here?
It's a secret door.
Every studio has to have a secret door.
Okay, so here we are in the 2nd floor.
Wow.
This space is especially for wrinkle texture and cyanoplage. So most of the cyanoplage process we done here, and the ground floor.
These are 2 of your key series that you've been working on for the last better part of a decade.
Yeah, and this is also the series take lots and lots of time.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the process like? How do you use this space?
For example, that corner we had a lot of
Let's go take a look.
footage. Yeah, material there.
And this is the Shen paper that you're talking about.
Yes, this is a Shen paper, and I spray cyanotype, the chemical, on the Shen paper. When it dry, it becomes sensitive of UV light. Then I crumble the paper, put on the sunlight to expose, then recoat this random texture under the sunlight.
Okay. It's very crinkly. You guys hear that? That sounds.
Means it's quite good paper.
The crinklier, the better the paper?
Yeah. Then I did a lot of paper and select maybe, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 out of dozens with a good composition. Then I put them on a hanging screw, look like a fake traditional Chinese landscape, but actually just the texture on the paper only. And some of the paper, I got the interesting composition, then I select from different paper and put on the canvas to do the collage.
You might cut one piece out of one piece of paper and then another piece from another piece of paper?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a collage process when it goes on.
Yeah, because it's hard to get the whole thing is perfect. So I do that to recycle them.
So how many pieces of paper are hanging here?
I don't know, hundreds or thousands.
Wow.
I've been doing this since 2012.
Right.
And most of paper here I couldn't use, but I don't know how to deal with them, so I just keep this here.
Right. And has the process evolved over time? Or it's the exact same thing from the first one to the last one?
Actually, it's keep changing. We testing different kind of paper. We've been studying dozens kind of paper. Till nowadays, we're still using about 10 different kind of Shen paper. And we are testing different chemical different kind of exposure. So we try many possibilities.
Right.
Yeah. For example, here you can see like a very different styles here. Like this piece, I'm still working. It's more from original idea to have a reference of traditional Chinese landscape.
Right.
Yeah. So I put on the photo paper, then I put on a layer and a layer like white sham paper, and before it dry, I use my hand to remove those fabric, so it create this like a foggy texture.
Okay, so let's start from the bottom here. There's a canvas there.
Yeah, underneath.
It's stretched, and then you're putting down a layer of the photosensitive paper that's already been exposed and cut out and collaged, and then you come back with a piece of clean paper that goes over that.
Many photo paper like this piece you can see here and here and here. It's actually all different. I combine them.
Right. So some are exposed and some are not exposed.
They're all exposed, but in
even the white
slightly
ones.
different one. On the white one, it's just a blank sham paper.
The white one's blank.
Yeah.
And then you're actually using your hand, so it's kind of like the oils of your fingers are kind of dissolving the paper over time eventually.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that process. Like this piece of paper could take like 2 hours, and I just keep working on this, maybe project myself standing on the top of the hill and look up to the mountain, and then there'd be some fog here and a waterfall.
And that's very much kind of what traditional ink landscape painting was about. It was about kind of the artist needing to be in an imagined landscape rather than painting a real mountain. They were kind of making an imagined mountain.
Yeah, exactly, because Sanshui, the Chinese landscape, never really represents certain mountain, certain nature. It always comes from artists' imagination.
Right.
So they create the ideal world for themselves.
It must be very meditative, that whole process.
Yeah,
spending hours
I
on a
really
single sheet of
enjoy
paper.
that. Yeah, 2 hours is gone. And here you can see this very different style.
Mm-hmm.
It's more kind of idea reflect to could be ocean, sea, could be mountains in the evening. Always more object in the way.
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting what you say about imagination. This idea of kind of, it's very psychological. You sort of see what you want to see. It's almost a Rorschach test for what you're thinking about, either the artist or the viewer. As soon as I came in, I saw ocean. It looked like waves everywhere to me. Yeah. But I can see, especially with this horizon one, sort of gives it another aspect as well. It's much more sculptural, maybe.
Yeah, it could be, and I feel it's more open for audience to project their imagination into the world. Yeah, and sometimes I feel like my early style. I feel I do a lot on that, but kind of limit audience imagination about the work. So I'm trying all kind of different possibility, which could be more open for audience. Yeah.
So which ones do you find the most open?
I would say so far I enjoy this very much.
These deep blue ones here.
Like this one you see with the sky. You feel very strong, like the depths there. But like this one, without the skyline, you know, it's just could be very, very abstract. Big ocean in the evening, or it could be the small detail of the waves, or mountains in the evenings.
It's almost color field. Yeah. No, it's fascinating for me because these are so slick. I mean, it's literally kind of shiny and hard feeling. It almost feels like a machine-produced thing. And so then to be able to see these unfinished works here, where we can see kind of what your hands are doing, how much sort of physical touch goes into it. It's a really fascinating contrast. Yeah, personally, I like this more rough surface, but this work, I just feel it need to be like that. This shining surface look like into the water. Yeah, for me, that kind of recalls the modernist aspect of this, where you kind of take the photogram, which was sort of like the ultimate Bauhaus technique, right? It was sort of about modernity and technology and how to create an image without a camera.
Yeah.
And then you kind of put that together with this much more poetic and meditative practice, and it becomes a very personal thing for you, I guess.
Yes, and photogram is a key word. I pick up this part from the photography history, like very early technique and the material, which is open. I could combine with other things easily. Right. And another side, I connected with Chinese landscape. So these two things look like so far away, different time, different part in the world, but coincidentally you put them together is just so interesting for me.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Because they are all part of my background.
Right. Yeah, no, of course. That's where it becomes very personal. So while we're on this floor, I also wanted you to introduce a little bit about your collection. So you support some kind of younger artists and others that you find interesting. Can we take a quick look around?
Oh, yeah, sure. Like this little kid, really, right? It's Heidi Ni Ruihong's work.
Taiwanese artist.
Taiwanese artist. You know, this 330-old guy. I don't know, having party with these young girls. Oh, she is a female artist.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah. And the funny thing is this work actually.
What is it?
Is a cookie box.
Cookie box.
Yeah. It's a lovely, cute little work.
Nice.
The work always have some kind of very personal or very personal fancy or something behind. Yeah.
So we've seen now the first two floors of the studio, which are very much production and work oriented. And I find it really interesting the way that you've got it set up, because it's sort of like an art sandwich. You've got art on the first two floors and art on the top two floors, and in the middle you have kind of living space and office space.
Yeah.
So we're going to now head upstairs, another floor, and see what it looks like up there.
We could have drinks upstairs.
All right. Again, we might lose our connection on the way up here. Feel free to use this time to send in any questions you have. If you're on Facebook, please comment directly on the video. And if you are on Zoom, you can use the QA function directly. Wow, suddenly we're in a kitchen.
Yeah, we are in the kitchen. This is my favorite corner in the studio.
Yeah, it's a major change of pace.
Yeah. So this floor is like a living space and office space.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a kitchen here, office and a living room and a
beautiful
bedroom.
I understand we're going to have some cocktail tips later.
Yeah.
After we finish the work portion here.
Looking forward.
Now we're passing by the Taipei Dangdai team. Hi guys.
Hello guys.
You have a lot of stuff here. What have we got? Can you introduce some of these things?
Yeah, I would like to start from this work, Gang San, my very close friend from Vietnam, Gang San. And you know, this very poetic stuff inside is actually porridge.
Porridge?
Porridge from her performance, The Leftover, like a few years ago.
Wow. And it's encased in resin?
Yes.
Never want to break that.
Yeah, I hope it wouldn't break, but I think it created a lot of gases.
Yeah. Maybe one day it'll explode.
I hope not. It's not the most expensive things like that. And this is Xu Yongxi's work.
Xu Yongxi is a ceramics artist from Tainan.
From Tainan, yes. He's amazing. He made this huge sculpture, like it's more than 3 meters high. It's one piece.
There was a big one at Taipei Dangdai, I remember it.
Yes. Yeah, it's very impressive. I think it challenged the possibility of the ceramics.
Right.
It's really amazing work. Cool. And I'd like to introduce this work. This is Yu Peng's work.
Yu Peng.
Yeah, my favorite Chinese painter. There was once he had a memorial show in Taipei Fine Arts Museum. I fly from Europe, come back to join a talk with the curator Wu Chi-Tsung, especially just for this talk, to show my support. I'm huge fans of him.
Yeah. Why is he your favorite?
because you know, I'm quite influenced by this ink painting tradition, but I never see anyone imagine the ink painting so free. He just draw this always the naked woman and the little kids, and the way like you look at the calligraphy. What the fuck is that? You cannot
Pretty
read
wild.
any words.
Do you have any idea what it says there?
I can only read the little.
Yeah.
Or the other things I cannot read at all.
So I think we got some details of it, but you do have this kind of female nude there, and that was really part of what he was known for. It was this kind of, we called it yu wang shang shui, like desire landscape of desire. So I kind of wonder, that makes me rethink some of your own work with the landscape and inkshun. Part of that is where you're coming from as well.
Yeah, but no, maybe that's why I like this. Yeah, it match some of my dark side.
Right, dark side.
But I don't know. I cannot draw as good as him, so in my landscape, there always no people.
Right. It's really hard to draw hands, right?
Yeah.
Always complains about.
For sure. I would like to show you our guest room.
Guest room.
Yeah, there are a couple of very nice artworks here.
Can we go inside?
Yes, please. This is our guest room for like a residency artist.
You have an artist residency program in the studio.
Yes, like we just finished one residency with the artist Saverio Tonoli, Italian artist from Berlin.
Okay.
My very good friends. We invite him to come during Taipei Dangdai, so we host the party together.
Right.
Yeah.
So are these silkworm cocoons we're looking at over the bed here?
Yeah, this is also Vietnamese artist Gam Sam's work. Two of this piece, all these vocabularies from the independent declaration. One is from the North Vietnam, one is in South.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of them has a lot more to say than the other one.
Obviously, you know, the communists speak a lot.
Now you've also just set up a studio in Vietnam, is that right?
Yeah. With the Gam Sam.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward because we just finished the space in the beginning of this year, but then the pandemic happened. We cannot go. So I'm looking forward when it's open to visit.
Hopefully we'll be able to be on the move again soon.
I hope. And this is Chen Yuxuan's work.
Now this is it says aesthetic Chen Yuxuan, 88 centimeters by 47 centimeters, 2019. Yeah. This is a caption. Right?
Yeah, here shows Chen Yuxuan, but she changed her name recently. Her name is Chen Zanxuan now.
Chen Zanxuan.
Yeah. Okay. This beautiful curtain, and we could open and you see inside.
What do we see?
You could see her name, kind of her signature. It's like a extension of her paintings idea. And this is little mirror, you see yourself.
Ah, right. We basically see ourselves. That's really interesting.
Yeah. This phone just remind me in the museum, those old classic painting, fragile of have the light protection, so the cover lets you open to see, but you're actually looking at yourself.
Right. We're what's fragile.
Yeah.
No, it reminded me immediately of David Hammond's with the tarp paintings, kind of covering it up and a sort of who gets to see.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic work. I love that it's in this kind of bedroom environment here too.
Thanks.
Where are we heading next? Are we going upstairs? Yeah. Another level up?
Yeah.
Okay.
We go back to the working space.
Back to work.
Yeah.
Actually, on the way here, I've got to know, what are these heavy-duty chains hanging from the ceiling for?
Oh, it's some like a very personal hobby, like a BDSM stuff. It's for exercise, you could hang here. And I have myself upside down here sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, to stretch the spine and to do some exercise.
Makes you taller.
Yeah, I'm probably too late to do that.
So we might have a little performance later. See how this goes.
Cool if we drink a mass.
All right, we're going upstairs again here. The video might cut out. Please do send in your questions. All right, now we're immediately in another kind of space here.
We have one question.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you decide which works to make in your different studios?
In the different studios.
We have the Berlin studio, Taipei studio, and now the Vietnam studio.
First of all, where I want to stay the most at the moment. And the second, where is suitable to produce. Like in Taiwan, we definitely produce mechanical works here, because in Germany they're gonna take forever. You know? But in Taiwan, we are quick and we are really good quality. Produce a very good quality stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And last year, a couple of years ago, I shoot still life series in Vietnam. Both they have quite good team and a reasonable price. And at the moment, I was studying about some culture and nature and plants in Vietnam. So I found it really would be fun to shoot there. So I tried the first time to shoot that series in Saigon. That's also why I want to do a studio there. I really like the atmosphere of the art circle there.
Right.
Yeah. But in Berlin, I would say I could really focus and concentrate to work there. So I kind of hide in Berlin. So some of the work I really enjoy to do that, like the big cyano clutch work we showed in Miami Basel last year was produced in Berlin. So it really depends. Yeah.
Okay. And so now the floor on you're working with the photogram material here. This is all the photosensitive paper. And what's happening? I hear there's water running over the surfaces of the paintings.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So this set is for wash and clean the paper after exposure. We will wash it like half to 1 hour to remove all the chemical.
Okay.
Yeah. So also this is the process I could finally see what's the image like.
So before you've done this, it's invisible?
Yeah, you could see like a little bit image, but not totally. Okay. So you could only guess. So during the process, it's like a blind.
Right.
So this is the step you could really see the surprise.
So the crinkling is quite random. There's no way to control how to make it look a certain way, right? I mean, you're not really composing the image.
Yes and no. I could control like a rough parts, like which direction the lights come from, and some like a big composition. But basically, you cannot control how you crumble a paper. Right. Every detail is random actually. Yeah, and I think that's the part really fascinating to me.
Right.
Yeah.
This looks really cool. I wonder if we can get the kind of, when you look at it from the side here, you see all of these ripples and bumps in the paper, and the water is kind of going up and over them. It really feels like it's in nature, like it's a kind of a river running down a mountainside or something like that.
And the sound is really good.
Oh, it's fantastic. But I have to wonder, kind of living on the floor beneath here with all of your work above you, does it ever kind of stress you out to think about all of these unfinished works that are literally right above your head while you're sleeping and trying to get some rest?
Yeah, it's totally, you know, I'm living in a studio, not working at home. So, so most of the times, like, working conditions, this could be really exhausting, I have to say. Yeah, that's why I think I have a better life, in Berlin. I divide the studio and the apartment.
The studio and the apartment are separate in Berlin.
Yeah, so I really go to work, then go back home.
Whereas here, you're just always at work.
Yeah, always.
We have another question. What do you do to put on the surface that makes it glow or matte?
I do collage by acrylic gel. So that's a layer and layer of gloss acrylic gel. And but on top of it, I put the gloss UV protect varnish. So it's make the beautiful surface.
Varnish.
Yeah.
And they're all varnished in the end.
Yeah.
To different degrees.
Yeah, especially for the material cyanotype is sensitive of UV light.
Right.
So this kind of new product with the varnish with UV protection is perfect for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you were saying that the works are actually exposed on the rooftop.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going to head next. Although we also want to hit the machine room over here.
Oh yes.
There's a lot to see.
Yeah.
Maybe should we go over here?
Oh, welcome. Nice.
Ah, that's nice.
Smart. There's a good comment. So this is a space where we do like metal and woodworks. So most of installation work we would do the prototype here to test, and then we finish the design and send the design to the factory that will manufacture. Yeah.
And you usually work with factories in Taiwan and Taipei for that.
Yes, yes. We have amazing factory and technicians in Taiwan.
Have you worked with them for a long time? Kind of the same suppliers?
Like the major one, we've been working, I don't know, it's like almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing to have that network built up.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised at how hands-on your studio is in a way. I think from the painting, not painting, the kind of the paperwork process, there's a lot of kind of your labor involved in it.
Yeah.
Now we're here in the machine room and kind of taking a look at all these tools. You've got drill presses, you've got buzz saws, you've got a bunch of nail guns, and you're basically using all of this yourself to build the first prototypes and things.
Yeah, I really enjoy to work with all these machines and tools. It's much better than sitting from computer the whole day. It's so exhausting. And it's making really, really exciting. Yeah.
I wanted to get the table here because I was just looking at this earlier. I have this obsession with kind of studio tables because they tend to accumulate sort of the traces of your work as an artist, a little bit of paint and some holes and scratches. And it kind of tells the story of what you've been working on over the course of a few years. How long have you had this table?
I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years.
5, 6 years.
I cannot remember where this marks from.
So it's been to a few different studios with you.
I think this is the fourth studio.
Fourth studio.
Yeah, we've been moving a lot.
All right, I don't want to leave the air conditioning, but I think we should probably head upstairs now.
Yeah. Let's go.
Oh wow, it really feels like a sauna up here.
Yeah, welcome to the sauna room.
So this is another work from the Crystal City?
Yes, this is the second one. I made this in 2009. It's like a very early, almost like a prototype for me on this series. Yeah. Oh, thanks to the Peng Bei-Chen, a collector friend. He collected this work long ago, but he allowed us to keep this in the studio to present this. Yeah.
彭老师在看吗？谢谢彭老师。So when we talk about the prototypes that you're machining downstairs, this is like something you would build yourself.
This one actually, I think I built everything in the studio by myself. I didn't send to the factory. It's simple, so when I develop the prototype already finished it. Okay. So I love it, so I could actually do everything by myself, and I try the proportion, try the structure. So it's almost like doing a sculpture.
All right, let's go outside. I want to see where the photo paper is exposed.
Oh, it's some fresh air.
Fresh air. That's nice. Wow, you've got a beautiful view from here. So
yeah, it's really old Taipei.
What are we looking at? What neighborhood is this?
We are in Dalongdong, in like east side of Taipei city center.
Okay.
Close to Danshui River,
Right.
which where Taipei started to develop. So it's just less than, I think, a few hundred meters
That way.
to reach the riverside. I was jogging around the riverside nearby.
Oh, nice.
Here. Yeah.
So
So
is
we
it a
are,
residential neighborhood or?
it's kind of a mixture in this kind of area in Taiwan. So people may open their shop or the office downstairs and then they live upstairs. This is
Oh,
like
really?
myself.
Right. So the way you run your studio is actually kind of part of the neighborhood fabric.
Yeah, it's an old style.
Yeah.
And we are very close to Taipei Fine Arts Museum. It's like a 8 minutes work.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
I didn't realize. So, yeah, we can see Yuanshan Dafan Dian from here, right?
Yeah. So many friends come visit the Taipei Fine Arts Museum and come by have a drink.
Good to know. All right, so let's head back inside.
Yeah, let's get some drinks.
It's time for a drink. That was a lot of stairs.
Yeah, it's good that work and live in a studio. Just climb the stairs. There's a lot of exercise.
Whew.
Oh, it's quite hot.
It is. It's got to be at almost 30 degrees out right now. I don't know why we all decided we're going to wear jeans and work shirts today.
And you just named. I actually didn't stay in Taiwan for such a long time, for a few years.
That's what everyone's been saying. Everyone is home for quarantine or home to get away from traveling in general. But it's really nice to have all of our friends who usually live in other places back in Taipei.
Totally, I feel I probably don't want to go out anymore.
Exactly.
Taiwan's so good.
So now we're in the kitchen.
Yeah, you want to have some drinks?
Thanks.
You like gin tonic?
Love gin and tonic.
I have a special gin tonic.
Special gin and tonic.
We like to share with you.
Please.
Yeah.
Now we're turning this into a cooking show. This is kind of part 2 of today's program.
Because most of gin tonic, most of gin, they are the flavor of lemon or lime.
Right.
And I really like this one. Is the flavor of a cucumber.
Yeah, cucumber.
And maybe something with cucumber.
Nice. We were just talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
I always had learned it before as Tang Li Shui. Tun Qi Shui. Say it differently.
通灵水. This is a very weird process, but I found this give quite a good flavor of the cucumber. This is what we mash like wasabi.
Oh, really? It's a wasabi grater?
Yeah. So it's interesting to mix this. I like to test all these things.
We have the third question.
Yeah.
There is a collector who collects your landscape in the maze video, and he or she is asking how you make them, especially when you see the ripples on work.
The what?
Landscape in the maze.
What's on the word? The
ripple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how I shoot the work. I create the whole things, like
grinding
like a woods. Oh, thanks. Like I found all these bonsai trees. Each tree maybe like this size, and I plant that on a board, create the whole forest, and I put a tree down, and the camera shoot from the top. And in the beginning, the whole thing is under the water, and gradually water level go down, and the trees and the forest gradually show up. So during this process, sometimes the water, on the trees, on the leaves, it breaks. So create this all this those texture, but everything is random. Yeah.
Is that enough?
Oh, that's quite enough. That's enough for 10 people.
How many drinks per 10 people?
Sorry?
How many drinks per person?
How many drinks
Only
per
10
person?
drinks?
5 guys?
Gotta make sure we have enough.
We always have enough drinks. Yeah, don't worry. We have a huge collection here. Sorry? Oh, okay.
Great. So we had this is a 40-minute program. So now we're just kind of casually chatting here. I think we're going to go over for a few extra minutes. I think while we're making our drinks, I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about what you've been doing differently recently. Obviously, you can't go to Berlin, can't go to Vietnam. Gallery shows are off pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
So what are you doing in the studio these days?
Actually, it's really great time for myself and for our studio, I think, during this pandemic, because we have many plans want to do for years, but finally we have like a few months gap to do that. So we've been doing, for example, to reorganize the whole studio, the hardware and software, like a management of production and administrations. Right. So, and also the space. It wasn't like this before. So this happened
the kitchen is
last
new.
month. Yeah.
Really?
Not exactly new, but setting up the whole thing just last month. Yeah. So I really enjoyed this period of time, and because I've been traveling around frequently, maybe every month or next month. So this period of time allowed myself to really just calm down and enjoy life a bit, enjoy to trying the new stuff, and enjoy every process.
Yeah, get into the routine and kind of experiment and see what works.
Yeah.
So how big is your studio team?
The whole team, we have a studio manager, Julian, very important role. The studio couldn't run without her. It's okay without me. I'm away all the time.
Don't see that. Your directors are supposed to be listening to this.
Yeah, and Wei Tin in charge of production and technician, and Li Min in charge of our database. Okay. And Tian Yi documentation, yes, and Wang Tianyi, she's from China and based in Japan now, and she's in charge of research and the PRs. And also our very important role is our accountant. She insists us to keep carefully like a cash flow for any kind of situation, so we could still survive nowadays. We have to thanks to her. Yeah, and this is our studio team, and also other partner maybe work with us by projects. Okay.
We have one more question. Has being back in Taipei given you any new art ideas or inspiration for your works?
Yes, I would say quite a lot. I feel really down to earth these days. I can back to the origin, back to my own beginning, and I have more time to think over the whole process. How did I start all these ideas? So, and also testing some material and technique is much easier in Taiwan, I would say, compared with anywhere else. I think Taiwan is the best place. You could easily find all kind of supports over here. Maybe just in, I don't know, just in 1 hour in Taipei, you could reach everything. So I would say this period of time is really inspired me, giving me a lot of new ideas.
So are there any new ideas you can share? New projects you might start working on?
Right now? No, I can't.
Too secret?
It's secret.
You can?
Yeah.
Well, now we have the gin and tonic recipe secret. Yeah, to live with that.
And look at the color, it's beautiful. Beautiful green.
We were talking about the party that you had thrown here in January. And I do think that's really interesting, that kind of to have the studio becoming a hub for part of the community, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have the residency function. So When you have artists coming to stay in the residency, are they making their own work while they're here? Do they get to use the production part of the studio too?
Yeah, they could use every single our equipment. You see,
Both
this
for you?
strong
Can I
enough
have
for
one
you.
too?
Yeah, this is for you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, that's very strong.
Oh, that's very strong.
Wow.
Sorry. I like this one side.
Yeah? You still have like half a can of tonic water here.
Yeah, just
Okay, I'll water mine down a little bit more. Thanks.
yeah, that's the idea. I feel nowadays, for example, like myself, I travel around quite a lot. So I would say most of the time the studio is empty there. Like with, you know, my studio in Berlin is empty there for like 6 months already. Yeah, and it's such a waste. So I always try to invite other friends. They want to spend some time in Berlin and look around, or some curator or critics. They want to do some research there. Just invite them to stay, and the same as older studios, such as the studio in Saigon with Gang San. She's a conceptual artist, and I'm always somewhere else. So our studio, actually, the major idea is to invite from friends from everywhere to go to Saigon to do some research or study there. And especially, I wish to bring some Taiwanese art community to go to Vietnam to see this new emerging artworks. It's fascinating. It's very, very energetic.
So you bring them to Taipei as well? Is it kind of a...
Yeah, we have Vietnamese artists spend a couple of weeks in Taipei. Kinji, yes.
Nice. How many artists have you had here?
So far, we just the longer time, like the residency, just Saverio Toloni and the Kinji, these two artists. But other times, just friends come to stay maybe a couple days.
And back to your work a little bit more. What do you have planned right now? When I assume you had a whole bunch of exhibitions that were canceled or postponed, like everybody.
Yeah.
Do you know when your next projects will be happening?
Yes. Actually, I have to use this time to do some works. Collector's been waiting for a while.
The waiting list.
I have to do that, and I have to say that first. And maybe the new ideas, I have more time to concentrate on that, and hopefully I could put that together to do a solo show as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Yeah. Hopefully next
we're
year.
Allowed to ship things again.
Hopefully next year or the year after.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much for having us in the studio today. It's really amazing to be able to see all of the work that's in process, but also where things are produced, your own collection, and of course to be able to have a little bit of social time here at the end as well. So we really appreciate it. Thank you. Do we have some more questions? I see some hands raised.
Oh, we have our last one. It's great to know how much you support other artists, especially now during this global change. What do you see is happening now for artists, and how can we be supported for a social distance, from a social distance?
From a social distance.
How can we support young artists? Is that the question?
Not only young artists, but support artists from a social distance.
You just remind me the social distance.
Send me to the corner. So as an artist, why don't we put it this way? What do you need to feel supported by the art world right now, either by collectors or by galleries or by art fairs or museums?
I would see this situation in a different perspective, because usually the whole art world imagine what are we doing now. We're probably preparing to go to the art fair. We're busy for next show and another show. You know, we're just like a busy, kind of loose. We just keep it like spinning, doing all these things. And I think this timing is perfect time to slow down, to think many things. And back to the question about supporting artists, I would say, in my experience, what I feel the most touching part is the kind of engagement. People really interested and curious about what I've been doing. It's so surprised to realize, wow, there's somebody else, they care about this. This is just like my own interest in my own ideas, and I'm working on that. But someone else, they may feel something in common, and they share with you, they feedback with you. And so I would say I wouldn't think supporting artists from so market's point of view. It's not just about buying the artwork. I would say everything about art is supporting artists. People like about your work, share, discuss with you, and buying your work and collecting that to support you to continue financially. All kind of things is supporting. And nowadays, maybe it's more difficult to see the real work, to talk to others personally, face to face nowadays. But you could also see the different sides, people supporting each other. We could communicate like these events nowadays. It wouldn't happen before, you know. And so many things is developing a new possibility because of this situation. I think the pandemic, the impact could be just beginning of the whole changing. It's gonna influence the economic, influence everything, maybe even politics in the end. It's going to be quite big. But I believe we have the kind of ability and the wisdom to face this. We find the new way to communicate and helping each other. And about the supporting artists, I would say all this concern about art is actually supporting everyone in our words. And there may be a time of struggling in like finance or any other reasons. But I also see that's the time in you showing the different things we wouldn't see, where we reveal a different point of view and different kind of network to engage, to connect everybody. So
Connect.
Yeah,
that's what we've done with Taipei Connections.
Yes.
We all really wanted it to be about kind of creating these conversations and taking this time in the middle of the year to really take a step back from kind of what an art fair is supposed to look like and to forefront the conversations between artists, between galleries, between lovers of art, and make that back to what it's all about.
Yeah, you see, if not this pandemic, you probably wouldn't have time here. We enjoy the things. And I'm probably just like busy around doing something else day after day.
Exactly.
I think there always good thing and bright side about that. And for everybody in the art world, I would say this is a good timing to slow down, because there's gonna be a lot of change coming, and we need to slow down and keep our mind clear and to be ready and be ready for that.
To be well prepared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks again. We really appreciate you having us here. Thank you to Gallery du Monde Sean Kelly for helping us organize it. I'm really glad that we're able to have your work featured on Taipei Connections. Definitely check out our site, Taipei Connections, on Ocula. And we'll be back with more live streaming content tomorrow. So look forward to seeing everybody online again tomorrow afternoon. Thanks and good night.
Cheers.